So, there is a word that's bounced around a lot that kind of irritates my soul, and I thought I'd share my thoughts on it, because why not? Um, I tend to not focus on current events or stuff like that, but I do focus on very key and important issues, and that is stuff that shapes our language and shapes our reality. So, the word I'm concerned about that's being abused and overused is community. Define community for me in your own words. Leave a comment below, hint, hint, wink, wink, that describes community in the way you see it. Now, the textbook definition is a group of people in the same location. So, in your neighborhood, that's a community. Or they share a common purpose or goal. So, you go to church, that's your community, your church community. Or you go see the same circle of friends, or you go to the same bar and you pretty much know everybody. That's a community. I was a part of a couple of those in Utah. Not so much in Texas, because I haven't really found... Well, you know what? I take it back. I joined a Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu school, and I would consider that my community, because those are rock-solid individuals, some of them very dependable. Others, they're just there to train, so, it is what it is. But they're nice people. They're good people, for the most part, that I've met there. That doesn't say that they don't have the problems. Everyone does. But I digress. The idea about community is twofold. It can either be a geographical location, or it'd be common interest. Here's where it bothers me. The word community is now used on racial lines. What the fuck is wrong with you people? Gendered lines even. The trans community. Yeah, all trans people think the same, right? They have common interests, common everything. The only thing they have in common is gender dysphoria, a condition. But that's it. You're taking one attribute and claiming it's a community? Are you fucking insane? For example, we could do that with religion. This is easy to do with religion. Catholics are a community. The Catholic community. Let's assume for a second that all Catholics pray and think the same. They do not. But let's pretend that they do. They're more closer a community because they have guidances, they have principles, they have a common practice, they have culture, they have dynamics, they have a whole bunch of other things, including a hierarchical structure of power, the whole nine yards. I mean, they could basically be a nation state if they so choose. In fact, they tried to back in the Dark Ages, and it didn't work out too well. But they would be more of a community than, say, the black community. Tell me, the people in Ghana, are they the same as the people in America? The West Coast blacks, are they the same as the Southern blacks? People that live in Michigan that are black, or Chicago, or New York, do they have the same ideals, infrastructure, attitudes, language, social club, social clique as the other? That's just in America. Hell, people can tell the difference between East and West Coast hip-hop. Where the beats come from, how they put things together, the rhymes, the whole nine yards. Same style of music, different types of approach. Now look at South America. Are they comparable to the rest of the United States? How about Ghana, or Uganda, or Zimbabwe, or any of those other countries within Africa? Hell, compare the countries within Africa. Are they the same community that you're claiming exists upon racial lines? The answer is no. So, creating a community based on race is about as brilliant as saying two rocks equal a mountain. Two rocks, not even identical. One's a river rock, smooth, been eroded for years, usually flat and round at the same time, which is kind of cool. Versus something that fell off a cliff, which is jagged, big, usually. Not necessarily eroded in the same way, so it's It's sharp. It's edged. It's oblong, too. It's a full sphere, not just flat and smooth. Those two rocks, nothing to do with each other, but they're a community of rocks because they're rocks. That's it. They're two rocks. That's what you're trying to do. You're trying to compare two things that are not the same and claiming that they are all in this one big, great, happy bubble. And this happens on the left and the right because the left uses it as a community. We're a community of diverse individuals. And they try to claim that they're all aligned to a common purpose. They're not. They got so much infighting and burning themselves that it's pathetic. Hell, one of my favorite quotes that I gave myself is the purity spiral spins inwards, meaning that every little purity test that you dumb shits put together will eventually bite you in the ass because at one point in time, you don't fit the purity of the spiral you created. Cancel culture is the same way. The purity spiral spins inwards like a toilet until everybody's flushed. That's pretty much what it is. But this idea that community is based on race is stupid. Gender is the same thing. You expect me to believe that all women think the same? The female community? The trans community? That's a great... there's male to female and female to male transitions. So those are two different dichotomies all by themselves that have different attitudes, different beliefs, different approaches, and different all sorts of stuff. You want to convince me that they think the same? Yeah. Riley Dennis and Blair White. Two names that are big on YouTube. Do they think the same? Do they act the same? Do they pretend the same? One of them is a self-righteous bigot. The other one, I'll just say it, she's hot. even though Blair, is not full transition. God damn. Yeah. Anyways, you want to claim that there's a full community based on race, based on sexual orientation, based on gender identity. And yes, I do believe in the spectrum of gender identities. It's just a spectrum between male and female. More male to female, more female to male. It's not 50 billion Tumblr made up fucking I want to screw a toaster blender genders. It's I do more feminine things or I do more masculine things. For example, I cry at movies sometimes. It depends on how sappy the movie is, but I do indeed cry. Most men don't. Well, at least the more masculine men don't, I should say. But I digress. See, the idea that there's a community based on immutable characteristics that you cannot change, is asinine. Because communities are developed around ideals and around geolocation. They are not made up based on race, based on sex, based on gender. They're not. They never have been, nor will they ever be. You can't just claim there's a black community and expect everyone to fit in it. That makes no goddamn sense. You need a further definition of that community. The leftist community, there is such a thing. Antifa is a community. A group of like-minded individuals fighting fascism with fascism. Whatever works, I guess. They like violence. Proud Boys is a community. They're recently declared a terrorist organization by the good people of Canada. Makes a whole lot of sense, considering they've never torched a building to the ground or assaulted an old people on the sidewalk or murdered 30 people in a year. But that one time in Charlottesville, don't forget that. Yeah. Don't forget that one time. We'll ignore the other times that they did the opposite. Anyways, think about that for a moment. My community. I live in a community. We should meme the shit out of that. This is a community. I have a community. It's like we live in a society. Fucking meme. We live in a community. It's fucking same thing. Anyways, I hope you enjoyed this video. See you next time.
All our hard work for nothing.